A very warm welcome to the Canada Credit Card Expert channel, and today, Canadians traveling overseas. The world is definitely shrinking. More of us actually travel, leisure, business, or just using our points for our frequent flyer or credit card points or whatever it is. We do travel more, and today we would like to cover with you how to actually spend on your Canadian credit cards responsibly, and that means how to cut on fees as well. Just a word before that, in the Canada Credit Card Expert channel, we are going to actually share and educate information about the 200 credit cards in Canada, including information related to credit scores, etc., how to get better credit cards, how to get the actual best features and benefits out of using the credit cards responsibly, that is. So if you do like this, you could definitely subscribe right at the bottom. So straight to the topic today. Overseas traveling. Firstly, we will actually share with you a piece of information that a lot of you might actually know. When you do travel overseas, the overwhelming majority of credit cards will actually charge you 2.5% for every transaction which is not in Canadian dollar. Now, that means that let's just have this restaurant in the US, and let's say the bill came to $100. The network, and that means either American Express, Visa, MasterCard, whatever the case is, would actually have the official conversion rate for the very specific day. And let's say this is $1 for 1.30 Canadian. So you will be charged 130 Canadian in your statement, but you won't actually see 130 because on top of it, you'll be charged 2.5% as for an exchange transaction fee. So the total would actually be the one you see on the screen. Let's top it up a bit. Well, if you pay with American Express, it will not be applicable to you. However, if you pay with the Visa or MasterCard, then you could actually be seeing on the screen of the terminal when it's handed over to you for your PIN number to confirm the transaction, you might actually see the transaction in both currencies, and that means in your own currency, the credit card currency, that is, in our case, Canadian dollars, and in the local currency, in our case, US dollars. Now, this is dynamic conversion. Dynamic conversion is a program that actually enables merchants to make a little bit more money on this transaction. Basically, by showing you the equivalent in your own currency, in our case, Canadian dollars, if you actually decide to process this transaction through the US dollar or Canadian dollars, that will actually matter to the amount of total fees you will be actually charged. So in our case, if you selected Canadian dollars, and that will show on the screen 130 Canadian dollars, then the merchant will make a few cents out of it as well. On top of the 2.5% foreign exchange transaction fee, the merchant will make a little bit just because they were kind enough to actually show you the equivalent of $100 in your Canadian dollars. So if you do want to save on foreign exchange fees, basically, whenever you are in the process of paying and you do bump into a merchant that has on the terminal your own currency, that is, if you see the local equivalent in Canadian dollars, you will still select the local currency, in our case, US dollars, to actually save on your fees. So the merchant will not actually charge you a little bit extra that you won't even notice by only selecting the Canadian dollar option. So again, by selecting Canadian dollar option overseas, you will be charged a little bit more. So do not do that, please. So what is the remedy? Well, we could actually divide them into three types of remedies. One, no foreign exchange credit cards. We are not going to cover them, but we're going to definitely to mention them. There are actually links at the bottom that would actually cover different types of credit cards we are going to mention today. The other one is actually enhanced rewards credit cards, and that means credit cards will actually earn you more when you do spend overseas. So that means you will be charged a 2.5% foreign exchange transaction fee. However, you will be getting actually much more than the usual rate on your rewards, on your earn ratio, that is. And finally, we are going to actually mention the very popular as well, currency cards. Now, this is a little bit delving into a different subject altogether. We're talking about essentially prepaid cards. However, they are definitely part of the conversation we are having today. So, we are actually moving into the no foreign exchange whatsoever, and we could actually mention right off the bat the no annual fee home trust preferred visa, and that credit card means $0 a year, 1% cash back on anything you spend, and on top of it, 0% on foreign exchange transactions. Now, this is definitely for those of you who would like to actually get any benefits beyond the 1% cashback. It's a very basic credit card, and it does actually do the trick. On top of it, we could most definitely mention some other credit cards such as Brim Mastercard, which is a pretty much it's a kind of a new kind of concept, and we are going to touch on that at a different video. And on top of it, we could actually go into the higher end, or what we call the mid end type of thing, of credit cards, and we talk about travel rewards credit cards, and most notably we could mention the HSBC World Elite Mastercard, and we did cover this credit card in a different video. There's a link at the bottom to that. No foreign exchange on this thing. Although we're talking about 149 a year, for 139 a year, you're getting the Scotia Passport Visa Infinite credit card, and it does give you some other benefits beyond the no foreign exchange fee. Again, we did actually cover Scotiabank visas, and we do have the link for you as well. So again, this is a typical travel rewards type of credit card, and it comes with some other benefits as well, travel insurance, etc. And we have the Scotiabank American Express Gold Card for 120 a year, and again, that would be also no foreign exchange fees at all. Now, just to mention, without delving much into it, there are actually virtual banks that actually run prepaid cards, not credit cards, but they do actually offer the option of no foreign exchange transaction, namely the Stack MasterCard prepaid card and the Coho prepaid Visa, assuming you have the premium account with them. So again, only the premium account with Coho prepaid Visa would actually qualify for no foreign exchange. If you do have the regular account, there will be 1.5% instead of 2.5%. However, again, these two are not strictly speaking credit cards. They are essentially virtual bank accounts. You could have a look at it if you are interested. However, this is not the main subject of today. We are actually touching on these prepaid accounts and cards a different video. On top of it, we can actually tell you that in the case of some other credit cards, they will actually give you enhanced rewards for actually spending overseas. However, you'll still be charged a 2.5% foreign exchange fee. So let's start with the RBC Cathay Pacific Visa Platinum. Normally you get 1 Asia mile for $1 spent on it, or 2 Asia miles if you spend on Cathay Pacific. However, if you do spend overseas, you get 25% bonus on the one, so that means 1.25 Asia miles per $1 spent if this is outside Canada. Same works for Rogers Bank. Rogers Bank actually has 3 credit cards, and you can actually look at the video we got at the bottom, and that is actually covering these cards. These are excellent cashback cards, and there are actually no annual fee. And the premium one of these 3 is actually the Rogers World Elite Mastercard, and that would mean you will actually need 80,000 minimum income a year. However, at the same time, you will be getting travel insurance, medical, that is, for 10 days, and you'll get 175 cashback, 175% cashback on anything. But when you spend overseas, it will slowly shoot up to 4%. So 175 going up to 4%. So just assume you're getting 4% back on 2.5% fee. That's essentially 1.5% cashback right there by spending overseas. So your net gain is 1.5% overseas and 175 in Canada. Same works for the Platinum MasterCard by Rogers and the FIDO MasterCard by Rogers, both of them at 125 cashback rate, that is percent, and if overseas, 3%. So when you do spend overseas with these 2 cards, you'll be getting a net. So this is the enhanced version What about the third option? Firstly, a lot of banks, definitely the high street banks in Canada, have US dollar bank cards. So if you do travel a lot to the US or countries that actually use the United States dollars, by all means you can actually have it. However, maybe you don't want to have a whole bank account for this purpose. You could have prepaid cards that will actually enable you to pay with foreign transactions without the foreign exchange fee. And that means we can just give you a few examples. The CIBC actually has currency cards. It's called the Smart Prepaid Currency Cards of CIBC. CIBC has done a great job when it comes to actual foreign exchange products. So they do have cards, and you can see on the table now on the screen the various numbers and the maximum load, etc. These cards actually you can have them in euros, in British pounds, in Mexican peso, and US dollars, and they would actually enable you to load them. It's simply a preloaded type of card, and when you travel to these countries, you can actually use them as local. So essentially, you're not using Canadian dollars at all. Just to mention, the Smart Prepaid cards by CIBC does have a Canadian version as well. However, this is irrelevant to our conversation today. Anyway, then we still have the other versions of the same card. Now, we have a specific video about the CIBC Air Canada currency conversion card. Now, the currency conversion card, you could actually load 10 different currencies into the card. This is an amazing card, but again, we won't actually spend any time on it now because we do cover this card and we compare it with the other card out there in the market, which is the Canada Post, the Canada Visa prepaid card, cash passport card is actually called, and we do have a video right at the bottom that actually covers these two. So you could actually load these cards with up to 10 currencies in the case of the CIBC Air Canada conversion, or in the case of the Canada Post cash passport, 7 currencies, and you could use these cards in all these countries that actually accept all these currencies. So these are essentially the different methods of actually saving on your expenditure overseas. So we definitely hope that was very useful to you, and of course this video does have a lot of links at the bottom and actually a lot of follow-ups to do, because there are a lot of products we actually covered. There would definitely be something that you might actually be interested in more than the other versions of the same solution. So if you did actually like what we actually shared with you today, the subscribe is right there and the bell is right at the bottom. We will actually talk to you soon.